You have had lots of clues. So have you figured it out yet? Now that we have reached week 3 in the season of Advent, have you caught on to what our Advent theme is? Prepare ye the way. Allison, with other musicians, have told us in song each Sunday. And last Sunday, John the Baptist added his 2 cents worth in his own not exactly understated way. Prepare the way for whatever the future brings. Prepare the way for whenever and however God next chooses to reveal God's self and come among us. Prepare the way for the forces of love and goodness to flow like a river in a burning with thirst world. When the worship committee chose this Advent theme, we decided there are 4 steps involved in preparing the way. Perhaps we decided on 4 because there are 4 Sundays in Advent. Perhaps we could have found 5 if we had 5 Sundays to cover, but no matter. We work with what we have. The first step, we decided, is to acknowledge the distressing realities of living in the time and circumstances in which we find ourselves. It is to get in touch with the profound depth of our longing for something better.
Diane,
much better than what we already have. We are indebted to Joanna, who made room for us to be in that space, that step of preparation on Advent 1. After longing for something better, we reasoned, comes the need to recognize how we have, whether intentionally or unintentionally, contributed to making the mess that now needs to be cleaned up.
we have made the mess.
Last Sunday, Michael, with an assist from John the Baptist, invited us to look at the ways we have gone astray and to change course. Michael also invited us to see that true repentance, true turning, comes with at least a glimmer of light to guide our faltering footsteps on a better path. And now it's Advent 3, and time for the 3rd step in preparation for God's coming anew. This step is about doing our bit to make the most of every glimmer of light we see. This one is about asking ourselves, how do I get on board in the fullest possible way with the goodness and love that is seeking to flow like life-giving water to every parched centimeter of earth and to each life form, reaching longingly to fulfill its purpose here. This step is about searching for what we can do, for what we can do best, and then making the commitment to doing it. Or perhaps for some of us, it's more about being ready to say yes when something we never imagined, and maybe are not so sure we really want, emerges as something we simply cannot not do. Here I am, the servant of God. Let it be with me according to your word. Whichever way commitment finds us, whether through inner seeking or external circumstances or a combination of both, it is something about which we need to exercise great care. It is easy to commit to the wrong thing. It is easy to commit to too little or too much. Let me share a parable to illustrate something of my point. Once upon a time, two people, two lost souls, went to a Christian revival meeting, both seeking to fill a gnawing emptiness in their lives. Both listened to the preacher, exhorting all present to give their lives to Christ. In the language of that time and that faith community, our seekers were promised that commitment to Christ came with eternal salvation. Both people were deeply stirred by the experience, and when the altar call came, both went forward to make a from the heart commitment. The first person went away to live out their commitment as a teacher in a residential school for Indigenous children. Their commitment to the creeds and beliefs and dogmas of the church kept an iron grip on their conscience and led them on a path that contributed to great suffering and unspeakable harm to others. The second person went away to continue a brutal struggle with alcohol addiction. Their commitment was to the spirit of love they experienced, embracing and enfolding them as they walked down that aisle and stood at that altar. They went home to work on managing their addiction and healing the wounds it had inflicted on their relationships with those who were dearest to them. Of course, in the course of our lives, we make commitments to many things, both great and small. Some commitments are for a time, some are for a lifetime, and some, well, they just may be for eternity. So how about that third option? If some essence of you were to exist forever and exert some influence on the unfolding of life in whatever form future life takes, what would you want that you-ness to be about? What do you most want to receive into the womb of your earthly life, and in due time give birth to for the sake of the goodness it will do? I think the power and the enduringness of Mary's story has little to do with the too long emphasized virgin birth. I think it has much more to do with her willingness, her commitment to carrying and birthing an inconvenient, dare I say at the moment, even an unwanted child. At a most inconvenient time, Mary made a commitment to bear and to give birth to love made flesh. She said yes to what may be the ultimate human calling, the one with which all other wholesome, life-affirming commitments must align. The commitment to love. Of course, even our strongest and most wholesome commitments don't always keep us from going astray. We humans will mess up. We always have. We always will. That's why we must depend on our commitment to love to circle us back to longing, to repentance, and then back once more to an even more pure commitment to love. The process is hard, but it is enabled and empowered by the necessary component that we will focus on next Sunday. And that would be hope, the power of hope in our lives and in the world. Amen.